and this is my video about gender and my gender and what that means. And I'm doing it because a lot of people throughout my life have wondered about my gender, and a lot of people have criticised me about that. But I'm doing this more for the fact that I feel like I need to tell you how it is from my specific point of view. Okay, so what that means is I identify as trans, but not entirely, because trans is kind of a blanket, big old term just used for people who are not cisgender, so people who are not the gender that they were assigned at birth, and that's definitely me. I've definitely not been, my gender assigned at birth never felt comfortable for me, and I can I can kind of prove it with a few anecdotes. And so my body does not match my internal sort of personality facet that is gender. So I consider myself to be a trans pangender individual, because I feel like I've got parts of literally all the genders inside of me, and sometimes that's confusing, and sometimes it's just, like, what? Because this sort of thing is really hard to talk about. It's actually harder than I thought it would be to talk about, because it's something that I've had to, throughout my life, deal with and not deal with, and, have people's reactions to sort of cope with, and have my own kind of worries to deal with. It's also the sort of thing that's, because I'm so far removed from a lot of the problems that used to happen in my life, it's just the kind of thing that I live with and I deal with, and my friends are fine with it. It's like, yeah, don't care, don't give a fuck, and so it is kind of a subject that's oddly difficult to talk about, but I'm going to try. So, what that means is my particular politics on gender is that gender is arbitrary. It's just yet another classification that we humans like to put labels on things, and it's just another one of those things. And a lot of gender roles come from society, and women wear this and men wear this, and women smell like this and men smell like that because they're separate deodorants, and there's, women do these jobs and men do these jobs, and that, because that's all bullshit. We know it is. It's much more egalitarian these days, thankfully, and it doesn't matter what gender you are, but a lot of people still live in the binary, still live in men and women, and there's, they don't see the shades and the variances in between, and away from, and from all those. It's not just a binary thing. So, I mean, for me personally, I do what I want. I wear what I want. I wear what clothes I want. I wear what smell I want. I like pretty, floral, feminine perfumes, and I like spicy, masculine, edgy perfumes. It's whatever I feel like. And that part of me does definitely identify with the non-binary. So yeah, I will wear what I want. I will wear a skirt if I want. It's rare to see me in a skirt just because I live in England and it's really cold. But I do like to show off my legs sometimes. And so clothes are kind of immaterial anyway. I mean, clothing is just You know, it's just a piece of fabric. It doesn't have gender. Gender is assigned to clothes by society. And I just wear what I like. You know, I wear what I feel comfortable in. I don't really have to feel the need to go through those gender roles of, well, this is a man's shirt and this is a woman's shirt, so I must wear this. So, yeah, anyway, putting the politics aside a little bit and concentrating more just on me and my experiences. So, at birth, I was assigned male, and it just doesn't fit. It never fit. Never ever. Throughout my school, childhood, being forced into this label was just kind of awful, really. I mean, excruciating. When I was really little, I liked to put on dresses and play with Barbies, and, you know, having teachers tell me that's wrong, or you know, having other older kids there tell me that that's wrong was really hurtful. And when I got a bit older, when I went to secondary school, they have the changing rooms for male and female. That was also, like, that was 5 years of hell. I'm not even kidding. Just trying to huddle up in a corner, trying to not get any attention, like just hide away from any and all attention at that point. And it was really crushing, you know, because I didn't feel like I belonged there. And teachers also, because the teachers were they were older than me, and I grew up, I went to school in the 90s. It just kind of tells you how old I am. And the teachers there were, some of them were okay, like quietly supportive. Like they would never say anything mean to me, and some of them were, oh, you can't do that, and you must take this off, and you can't even wear makeup even if it's, you know, like a little bit of black eyeliner, because, yeah, I'm expressing a, you know, I like metal music, deal with it. I'm experimenting with eyeliner because I'm experimenting with the whole goth thing, not the whole sexuality, gender thing. They still didn't like it. They were threatened by it. They were threatened by me. Which is kind of a ridiculous thing to think about back, you know, is they were threatened by my expression, by my wanting to express myself. It's kind of a weird realization. So, anyway, after school and going to college and being able to express myself at college, because, you know, that's when people are sort of expected to experiment. That's when I discovered, you know, what I liked and what I didn't like, and after I left home and got introduced to the fabulous Eddie Izzard, I finally had a word to relate to. I finally had a label that, you know, Eddie is transvestite and transgender, and I had this label that I could then relate to me. It's like, hallelujah. This is exactly what I am. So I lived my life as feminine as possible, you know, and because I was then living on my own, I had no resistance to that. I changed my name back in 2008. It's been nearly 10 years. And on the whole, people generally accept. Especially people who didn't know me back then. So when I tell people now that I'm trans, I do use the word trans just because it's easier than saying trans, pangender, non-binary individual, because that's a bit of a mouthful. But it's you know, people just generally just accept that's, you know, and I think that's partly to do with the fact that it's a little bit of a different era now, that it is more, there is more awareness surrounding it, the whole gender spectrum. And but yeah, living as feminine as possible, that came to a bit of a weird head when I went to college for the second time in Taunton. And sort of living as this, basically living as stealth. The first 3 weeks there, I was completely stealth. Not because I wanted to fool anybody, but because I wasn't going to go up to people and say, oh, hey, I'm Joy, here's my penis. No, you don't do that. Why would you do that? Nobody does that. So I just got to know people. I was like, oh, hi, I'm Joy. You know, I like piercings, as you can tell. And that's, you know, that was a bit weird for me, because I realised throughout those 2 years that I'm not exactly female. Not 100%. I felt like 80%, like maybe 75%, 80% feminine, clearly. And the rest is like a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of something else and a little bit of just nothing, no gender there, that particular aspect of personality. So I found that it's actually, yeah, it's a bit of a mess going on in my head, but the labels that I've got at the moment, trans, pangendered, non-binary, individual, are the most accurate descriptors I can define myself with. And it's not about being trendy or cool. It's something that I've just always felt, always throughout my entire life. And you might be wondering, well, what does this mean for the future? Well, despite this dysphoria, I've never had any dysmorphic feelings about my body or my genitals. And I don't plan on doing anything about that at this present point in time. And to be honest, it's nobody else's business. You know? Unless you're planning to be with me in an intimate setting, you don't need to know what's going on there. All you need to know is I'm a human being, I have rights, I have, you know, interests, hobbies, fears, dreams, hopes, plans. I'm just like everybody else in that respect. So, yeah, I'm that is the whole about me. So anyway, this is part 1 of a 2 video part about me. The next part will be about sexuality, which is, yes, different, not the same thing as gender. So stick around for that. Okay, bye.